Throw those opening books out. Opening books aren't going to be too helpful, are they? This is Fischer random, and white usually has an advantage on chess cube time-wise. Notice his clock isn't ticking, but as soon as he makes a move, guess whose clock starts moving, and I have to come up with something. So what's unprotected? Nothing. Everything's protected from this arrangement. I like this as a first move as well, or this. But I prefer, hang on. Yeah, I like this too. I like giving my queen some breathing space. And I like bringing my knight out behind the pawn. So this is the symmetrical variation of some Fischer random setup. Here's one thing that I've noticed from my experience with this variant of chess, Fischer random. These bishops don't have to move to be developed, just the pawns in front of them. They're not in anyone's way. If I wanted a castle kingside, I'd have to move him and these two. To castle queenside, I only need to move my queen and then drop my king and my rook, and the rook ends up here, my king ends up here. So I think I might want to do this move also. Or this. He's going to do this. I don't know. We're going to end up with a quart grip in the center. That term was used in a book called Pawn Power by Hans Kmach. Quart grip, where there's a pawn here, here, and the pawns here. They control all four center squares. And so far we're, well, this pawn is now hit. And with my last move, I'm hitting here. I think I just want to defend. So that's why I was saying we're probably going to end up having quart grips. So I need to activate my bishop. And my knight probably here. If I'm going to be playing here with my pawn, I need to be very cautious of this square. Knight or bishop could jump in. This might be a move, but then again it concedes the d4 square. We both have to be very cautious here. We don't want to really leave any gaps with our moves. And right now I'm threatening to just win this pawn, so I wonder if he'll do similar. You'll notice I went with this pawn because moving this one is much more committal, weakening this diagonal that the bishop is clearly already on. So we once again have a perfectly symmetrical position after these 5 moves. Everything is the same. Where will it change? It'll change usually after a capture. Then things are going to be different for sure. So how will things go from here? I'm considering knight d7 to f6. I'm not sure what I want to do with my e-pawn. If I'm to move my queen, I'd probably be wanting to go here. Should I still just kind of copy? Let's copy one more. Why not? It seems like a good move. I'm not just doing it to copy. I'm being I think it's sensible. I think he's making sensible moves, and I think that this is the right spot for the knight. This is slowly evolving into a position where our knights are developed classically. And I don't want to... So this is where things are now going to change. So I don't want to trade. He looks like he's a stupid piece now, but... And maybe he is. Maybe he is, but okay. Now I have this quart grip. These 4 pawns control all 4 center squares. queen here, bishop here, and then I could castle kingside. I'm not sure what I want to do with my king just yet. I think a very important idea in Fischer Random is to mask your king's location. Keep his residence a bit of a disguise. Stay flexible. So, okay, we do have some action in the center. And, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about that? You know what I don't really have to fear? I don't really have to fear pawn push, because I believe I'd end up winning it. Let me get my queen developed. I think this is best. If pawn takes, I'm pretty sure taking like this is best. However, you know, I don't know. Come to think of it, I'm not so sure about that. If pawn takes like this, I'm weakening this square, but then again, I have coverage, right? I have pieces that are responsible for watching over this square. Now this starts to become a bit of an issue, because this move that I thought couldn't be played is maybe close to being played. I think white is ready to undermine this pawn by playing e5, and maybe still could have done that on the previous move. I didn't really consider that. I thought here, takes, knight here, I'm hitting it 3 times, and I was forgetting that c5 would be unprotected. He's also watching over d4 from a knight jump. I wonder if I should take and then play here. Takes, pawn push. I'm going to try that. I have to fire off some move. We're pretty much dead equal with time. Let's see how white recaptures. Structurally, this would be better, I think, because now he's a little bit awkward, and I think I want to take like this, just so my bishop could see the world. And as a follow-up, I think I want to have some type of a grip over this square. It's not going to be so easy, though. No. Now I think I just calmly bump up here. And now I'm ready to castle kingside, which I think should be pretty safe. And then I might want to just open the position up. There might be some sacrifice here, but I don't think white is in a position to really open up the position, because I actually have a slight lead in development, and I'm gonna zip my king over here, so in case anything crazy happens on this square, my king is not going to be in any danger. So he's down to 50 seconds, and I'm considering b6 and then here, or maybe there's something more direct. Can I open stuff up right away? Maybe I could give this knight a kick. Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to kick him around. You can't you could castle queenside, but that's very scary, isn't it? I have one bishop bearing right down. This is scary now. He has to go to the corner, and now this pawn is going to be a monster. He can't move or capture because he's unprotected. Less than 30. And now because of this advance, my rook is brought right to life. My knight also has a good home, since the pawn could never advance to a3. So this is a really devastating pawn advance, and now this is dropping material. I think I do well to first just take, make sure the file is opened up. This comes with check, and if after this recapture, now this pawn is pinned. I'm not really a big fan of capturing pinned pieces, but in this case, I think that it's just the best move, because it's activating my queen. And what other piece am I needing to activate? This bishop, this rook still need to do something. I could bring my queen out. I'd like to get my bishop on this diagonal. They always have some block here. Let's actually open up the B file. That's the way to... No! My goodness. Let's do this. I would have dropped my rook. these knights offset one another. This is going to be game over just clockwise. It's just not happening. It's position-wise too, but that only really shifted. Advantage really only went one way or the other as soon as there was a problem time-wise. All right, good game. Let's go back here and flip the board. So we kind of copied here, and I pretty much shared everything I wanted to share during the game. Didn't have to move the bishops in order to have them have an impact on the position, just the pawns in front of them. We both did that. We both copied one another. We both, with our first move, got our pawns up in front of our queen, so she had some room to breathe, and our knights like to be right behind those pawns. Their jumping points are already supported by the pawn. That's a good thing. And this is where things deviated. So white induced a weakness and then dropped back. This is a... Well, I don't know how much better developed it is. I don't know what was really accomplished. Maybe there's some way to improve at that point in the game, but it really just came down to what? Maybe this was the last very important point in the game. This pawn capture is the one, to be perfectly honest, this is the one that worried me most. If you take with the pawn, I'm really concerned about e5, undermining this link of pawns, just these two pawns alone, this small structure, c5 and d6. I'd be really concerned about you pushing forward, grabbing some space. And I think after this capture, I'm having to play here, and it's a whole new world. It's a whole new position, because then you could immediately jump into d5, and well, I think it turns out to be a more difficult position, a more tense position, more critical for me. Well, then again, I mean, if I play this e5 move, I weaken d5, but then again, this d4 square is already, we could consider that already a hole. So I just don't know. I started to feel comfortable at this point right here, when I knew I didn't have to deal with any other pawn, or as soon as I didn't have to deal with the white pawn on e4, as soon as I didn't have to worry about e5, I felt a little bit comfortable. I was able to make that bishop move and then get castled. But I think this was really the main, the last critical point in the game. Knight here I think is fine. Maybe even here, maybe instead of the knight move, maybe you could do this, because of this pressure. No, you have to be careful too. I'm seeing something now. One thing that I wasn't seeing all the while is that after this capture, the queen has pressure here. So I'm doing that move at this point right here when the knight is still on d2. If you do this after it captures, the queen's ready to take here and have that be with check. However, after the knight is on b3, now this is a threat. So that if I take, you're able to take on c5 with the knight, attack my queen, and defend the pawn on d3. But this, I think, again, the last critical point in the game. How exactly to recapture on e4? It's not so easy to really come up with that in this short, fast type of game. But yeah, I think it started to slip right now. I think your best bet is to go king side. But we're pretty low on time at that point. It just kind of crumbles as soon as this file opens up, and we're castled on opposite sides, so I think I'm better positioned to attack your king. Alrighty. Good game. I think that was the first time, at least in 960, that we've played. Alrighty.